A student takes multiple choice test with 40 questions. The probability that the student answers a question correctly is 0.5. The probability that the student answers more than n questions correctly is greater than 0.1. The probability that the student answers more than n plus 1 questions correctly is less than 0.1. Calculate n using normal approximation with continuity correction. So this is binomial with n equals 40 and p equals 0.5. So you know that the mean is np, which would be 40 times 0.5, that's 20. And the standard deviation is the square root of np times 1 minus p. So that will be square root 10. Now let x be the number of correctly answered questions. We're given that probability x greater than n is greater than 0.1 and probability x greater than n plus 1 is less than 0.1. So n is the main number. We change that into standard score. So n x greater than n, if we apply the continuity correction, will be x greater than n plus 0.5, because let's look at an example. Let's say n was 6. So we're looking at probability x greater than 6. So greater than 6 in discrete means 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. But if you want to change it into continuous, then anything 6.5 onwards will also be greater than 6. But anything less than 6.5 is not greater than 6. So greater than 6 after continuity correction becomes greater than or equal to 6.5. So whenever you're going greater than an integer and you want to apply a continuity correction, you add a 0.5. So the n greater than n practically means greater than n plus 0.5. So the z-score would be this n plus 0.5 minus the mean over standard deviation. And 0.5 mean was 20, standard deviation was 10, so this is negative 19.5 on the top. So z is equal to n minus 19.5 over square root 10, and therefore we now 0.1 is the tipping point. Let's solve the equation probability x greater than n equals 0.1. So we were given that it's greater than 0.1, but we'll solve for equal to 0.1 and then see what happens at the greater than. So x greater than n, let's solve this equation, that probability x greater than n equals 0.1. So that means probability x less than equal to n 0.9. And the reason why I've changed it into less than or equal to instead of greater than is that the tables are given cumulative. So the tables go less than or equal to. So once you change x into z, the z corresponding, z was n minus 19.5 over square root 10. So this means probability z is less than equal to n minus 19.5 square root 10 equals 0.9. So if you look in the table, the probability of 0.9, so let's open the table. The probability of 0.9 corresponds to, okay, 0.9. So you look for 0.9. Now you have 0.9015 and you have 0.8997. So it's much closer to 0.8997. So you can do 1.28. That's what's corresponding to 0.8997. So z equals 1.28. And therefore that means that this n minus 19.5 over square root 10 equals 1.28. And this, when you solve this for n, you get 23.55. So here's the picture. The whole thing started from setting the probability equal to 0.1. So probability, and that was corresponding to n equals 23.55. So we're talking about probability being greater than 0.1. So this is the area which represents a probability of 1.1, and that corresponds to n equals 23.55. So now if you want to go, if I go less, let's say n is 23, which would be on the left side, so I will pick up a greater probability than 0.1. But if n is 24, which is into the red area, then I'll pick up a lesser probability than 0.1. So it means probability of n greater than 23. 23, remember, would be here. So n greater than 23 would be this probability, which would be greater than this red area. And n greater than 24, 24 is here. So that would be a lesser probability than 0.1. So that's what we are seeing here. The probability of answering more than 23 questions will be higher than 0.1 because more than 23 would be more than this point, and more than 24 questions would be less than 0.1. So it means that 23 is the n that we are looking for. Remember, we said that probability of answering more than n questions is greater than 0.1, and the probability of answering more than n plus 1 questions is less than 0.1. So n has to be 23, and that was choice A.